products that have survived for a long period of time. They have done so because they understood the needs of the customer, and that exactly is marketing. Marketing is understanding the needs of the customer. We meet the needs of the customers profitably. And anyone, therefore, who believes in the word I, well, you're not really made for marketing, because marketing has nothing to do with the word I. You have to travel the journey and reach till at least we, if not X, Y, W, Z. Because marketing is about we. Marketing is about respecting the other person. Marketing is about accepting the other person as it is. And marketing is not about what I think, but marketing is about what you think and what we think. And therefore, marketing, in a lot of ways, and I say this very often, is nothing but life. Marketing is an integral part of life. Somewhere, we are all doing marketing somewhere or the other. It's when we don't understand the other people that we have problems. When we understand the needs of other people, those relationships are good. But anyway, that's for a separate class. Right now, we continue with what we were talking about yesterday. And yesterday, we tried to understand that how did marketing reach where it has reached today. So we started with the concept of production concept. And I said, what is a production concept? Production concept is when the producers used to dominate, and therefore customers didn't really have too much of a choice. They had to buy what was available. So as it said, any car, a customer can have any car painted any color that he wants as it is black, or maybe if I take the Indian context, then a customer can have any scooter as long as it is Bajaj. The production concept was then replaced by the product concept. And yesterday, as we discussed, what is a product concept? When we get obsessed with our product, when we go on trying to add features to our product, irrespective of the fact whether the customer needs it or doesn't need it, whether the customer will be able to appreciate it or will not be able to appreciate it. We are not so much bothered about the customer. What we are bothered about is how good I am. How can I show the world that I'm the best thing that ever happened? And marketing has nothing to do with such things, because marketing is about what does the customer need. This was slowly, then came, there's another concept which is called the selling concept. Now, what is a selling concept? In this selling concept, we say that we can force a customer to buy any product. Now, are we like that? Are you like that? Am I like that? Can someone force me to buy a product? Maybe once, maybe twice, maybe thrice. I think someone is trying to put something in the chat. Please unmute yourself and say, just join. Okay. So selling concept, as I said, I mean, they say when you can force someone to buy something. Repeating myself, am I like this? Are you like this? I mean, can someone force me to buy something? Maybe once, maybe twice, maybe thrice. Fourth time, वो बंदा मेरे सामने आएगा ना, या तो मैं भाग जाऊंगी या उसको मारूंगी. I mean, you can't force me to buy something repeatedly, because, and that is why selling concept has nothing to do with marketing. Because marketing is not about forcing people to buy, but marketing is when a person wants to buy the product, and therefore we say the job is not to find the right customer, but to find the right product for your customer. And how can you do that? You can only do that when you understand the need of the customer. So maybe let me show you some examples and let's discuss this. So I understand, and I was just going through the various websites. And here was this, I went to this laptop website, and it says that you can build your own laptop, and there are many, many options out here. And it says customize and buy. What does it mean? That you make the laptop, you design the laptop as per your requirement, and then you buy it. Can you beat it? I mean, in the sense that they are making you work. They are asking, because when you are designing the laptop, What are you doing? You're working. You're using your creative, your knowledge, skills to design something. Are you going to be paid? Look at the irony. You will be paying to buy that product. And will you be unhappy? No, I'm going to be the happiest person when I'll buy this product. You know why? Because whatever I design is the best. Whatever I customize is the best. Because I am the customer, and how can I ever be wrong? What have they done? They have met your needs so beautifully. They have met your needs in a manner that they're making you work, and you're not unhappy about it. Otherwise, आपको कोई काम करने को कहता है तो हमारे पास 50 बहाने होते हैं. I can't do this, I'm so busy, I have this, but look at this. I mean, we are going to work, and we are going to work with a smile on our face. And not only that, we are going to pay for it also. While this is this is one extreme example, when I'm talking about understanding the needs of the customer in more recent times, I'm always fascinated by this example. I don't know how many of you are aware of Saregama Carvaan. How many of you have heard of Saregama Carvaan? If you have, just unmute yourself and let me know.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
ma'am.
Great. So for those of you who are not aware of Saregama Carvaan, let me tell you a little bit about it. So this is a radio, if I may use that old word. So this looks like that old-time radio, and this has more than 5,000 songs. That's what they claim, belonging to the so-called old time of Hindi music. And they have further categorized those songs in different ways. They have had different categories of categorizing it. Now, how did they come up with this? So there was this generation which was, how do you people listen to music? You know, you were all born with a finger on the mouse and earphones in your ear. So maybe that's how I see my kids also. They're so comfortable with these earphones in their ear, and they're all the time, I don't know what they're doing all the time, but they're doing something. While ask me, I don't like to listen to music in my ear. I like music around me. I love that music. And I don't understand all these things. So there was this generation, most probably, and today on the radio, if you actually open whatever channel, it's the latest music which usually is played. We may, just like, I'm sure if I ask you, hey, do you like the music of the old Hindi music? You might say, what? Kya hai? Just like we say when I hear the music of your generation, what? What is this? So there's always this generational gap which will always stay and should stay. That's what makes us different. So these people, there was this generation which was missing this old Hindi music. And they were missing it not because it was not available, but they were missing that old time of listening to the music. So ask me, the way I was brought up, radio was such an integral part of my life. Music was such an integral part of our life. And there used to be music all the time in the house. So right from the morning till evening, there was this music, and there was this radio which used to be on, and light music in the background. Now, most of the people have those earphones in their ear, and so 5 members of the house are listening to 5 different music, which is good, which is very good. But we were missing it. And what did they do? So they came up with this product, which has that old, more than 5,000 songs in it, categorized by different things. And they could have made it some fancy looking product, but no, they made it look like that old time radio, that old time transistor, which evokes nostalgia in you. But is it also old in terms of technology? No, it's absolutely new in terms of technology. Plus it also has radio option, it has Bluetooth. So technology-wise, it is latest. Looks-wise, it is old. Not only that, I don't know so that was the product. Now, how did they promote it? I'm not sure whether you have seen their advertisements or not. If you haven't, go to YouTube and see. they had these lovely ads where they showed a son giving it to the mother, or most of the time, yeah, I mean, so it was a young person giving it to a senior person. Now again, why? Please understand, again, the older generation is, ask me, I can't buy gifts for myself. I can't. I feel so funny. How can I buy something for myself? I mean, that doesn't happen. And however, I truly appreciate the young generation, which are very comfortable buying for themselves also. I mean, I want to give a gift to myself. So there are cards which say, time to give a gift to yourself. That card would never work with my generation because that's not how we were brought up. So that Saregama Karwa, though I love it, I adore it, I want it in the house, but I will never buy it because how can I buy something for myself? What did they do? They showed the younger people giving a gift to the senior people of the house, which just fits in with the culture, tradition, and everything. And the price, it's pretty expensive if you ask a normal middle class person like me, maybe not for you people, but when you are giving a gift, who looks at the price? Yes. And so, and how did they distribute? So it was available at all the electronic shops, etc., plus obviously online, so on and so forth. So what did they do? They understood the need of the customer, and then how did they satisfy that need of the customer? They satisfied that need of the customer by providing them with the right product at the right price, with the right promotion, and the right distribution, right? Or we call distribution as place. So the need of the customer was then translated into right product, right price, right promotion, and right place. And this is exactly what we are going to do in your course. We will understand the product, we will understand the price, we will understand promotion, and we will also understand how to distribute it. And please have a look at it. Which aspect of business am I not covering in this? And therefore, we say that business has only two functions: marketing and innovation. I'm crazy about marketing. I'm obsessed about marketing. And at times you may feel, hey, there are other disciplines also. Yes, maybe, but I will only talk about marketing. And therefore, I mean, and look at this. We cover everything when we are talking about marketing. Okay, but before we go any further, you need to understand some basics. So, the difference between needs and wants. Okay, now there are two people who are hungry. Now I may need dal chawal, the other person needs a burger. We are hungry. We both have the same need. That is, we are hungry. However, our wants are different. Someone needs a dal chawal and someone needs a burger. Thank God our wants are different, because that's how we marketing people, segment people into different groups. But is need and want enough? No. So I live 30 kilometers away from the institute. I need a vehicle. I need a car. I want Mercedes. So should Mercedes start making Mercedes for me? Anyone? I want Mercedes. So, and I stay 30 kilometers away. That's my need, and I want a Mercedes. So should they start making Mercedes for me? No reply? You don't know?
Probably no.
Probably no. क्यों तनिष्क? गरीब हूँ इसलिए?
Because their target audience is,
I know, that's what I'm saying, because,
Yeah.
yes, you're right, Tanishk. Absolutely right. They shouldn't. They shouldn't if I do not have the capability to pay for that product.
On that.
We-
अभी next point में जा. एक मिनट रुको, मैं फोटो निकालता हूँ.
Samarth, Beta, when you are not attending a class, then don't attend, but don't disturb us. And you know what, Samarth? All this is recorded for eternity. You can show it to your grandchildren that you never attended classes.
I'm sorry, ma'am. There was some background noise, so I was trying
That's
to mute.
perfect. Okay. That's okay, Samarth.
Someone was actually on the call right now. I'm
हाँ
really
ठीक
sorry.
है बेटा, it's okay. So yes, but Tanishq, you are right, absolutely right. I may stay 30 kilometers away from the institute. I need a vehicle. I need a car. I want Mercedes. Oh, that's not the reason that Mercedes should start making Mercedes for me. Why? Because a need and want, when not backed by the buying power, you should only manufacture for those who have created a demand. Yes, we fulfill dreams, but unfortunately, dreams of those who have the buying power. Because if I start making Mercedes for every person who wants a Mercedes, then we're not doing business. We are not doing business because we are not meeting the needs profitably. And therefore, please understand, when you get into marketing, you need to understand need is important, want is important, but don't forget the third thing, complete the journey, demand is important. Yes, Mercedes should make a Mercedes for me if I have the buying power, because then I am their target customer and they should make it for me. However, if it's just a dream which is not backed by any buying power, then stop. They should not make it for me. As I said, at any point of time, if you have anything to contribute or something is not clear to you, just unmute yourself and ask. Don't wait for me to ask you if you have understood or not understood. So, need, want, and demand. Okay, great. So we came to, that's what I said. So when you look at the people who are creating that demand, that in a way, what you are doing is you are segmenting them. Segmentation, targeting, and positioning are such a foundation part of marketing. Before we understand product, price, place, promotion, or any other thing, you first need to understand what is segmentation. And maybe after listening to this, you should go back to the article that I've shared with you on a classroom, which was this article where it tells us that how new customer segments have come up after COVID. Anyway, but we'll discuss this later. So what is segmentation? In very simple language, segmentation is when we divide the population in a number of groups such that every group is homogeneous within itself, but heterogeneous among themselves. So maybe if you were sitting in the class, then how I would explain it to you in more simple languages. So when you are in a class, there are rows. There are most probably 4 rows. So I'm right now sitting in the classroom. I don't know if you can see this because there's some work going on in my office. So how in a classroom we have is 4 rows. We have rows. So we have row number 1, 2, 3, 4. Now every row is homogeneous in itself. Why? Because the people sitting in row number 1 belong to row number 1. They have a common factor, row number 1. People sitting in row number 2 belong to row number 2. They have a common factor, row number 2. So in terms of the name of the row, it's homogeneous in itself, and yet it's heterogeneous among itself because people who are sitting in row number 4 do not belong to row number 1. At this point, maybe let me come back to you and ask if I'm making sense. If I'm not making sense, then also let me know. You have the next 10, 15 seconds. Otherwise, I'll assume that you have understood everything. Fantastic. You're all genius bachas. Okay. So we continue, and yeah, so this is how we do segment. I mean, that's the basic of doing segmentation. Now, are there a number of ways to do segmentation? Of course, there are a number of ways to do segmentation, and this is not an exhaustive list. These are just some of the ways of doing segmentation. Please understand, there is never a list which will just say, okay, that's it. These are the 5 ways of doing segmentation. No, these are just the popular ways of doing segmentation. So geographic, what does geographic segmentation mean? So north, south, east, west, country-wise, whatever. So does it make sense? Well, maybe yes. So if I take the case of fans, so fans are not required in North India. North India, I mean, for those of you who are in North India in the months of December, January, the temperature really drops. And this time I heard it went up to 2 degrees and 1 degrees also. You don't need a fan. I mean, it's 2 degrees outside and you definitely don't need a fan. So there are months in North India where you don't need a fan. On the other hand, in the southern part of my country, there are only 2 weathers, hot and very hot. And therefore you need the fan 24 hours, 12 months a year. So the way I will promote my product in North India will be different from the way I'll promote my product in South India. And what does that mean? I mean, maybe I will not do any kind of promotion in December or January, maybe. I mean, though some companies have a different view, they believe that you should do more promotion at that point of time so that the moment summer arrives, people are aware of it and you should do less promotion. However, the promotion thing will differ, and therefore it makes sense most probably to have a geographic segmentation, right? What is demographic segmentation? Very simple. So what is demographic segmentation? So according to age, sex, so you have toys, for example, toys for children, while shaving products for men, cosmetics for women. This is very demographic segmentation. Or even what Saregama did. I mean, so it was for people above a certain age group. So it was based on age, it was based on gender, and so that is the demographic segmentation. What is buying behavior? Okay. So buying behavior is when you try to change the behavior, when you do the segmentation according to how customers buy. Now, what do you mean by this? So let me give you an example. And I think this example has withstood the test of time. Again, a great company in India, the way they have handled the product in India, Cadbury's, chocolate. Chocolates are such an important part of our life. However, and you know what, if you, most probably you should all go back and see these advertisements. For those of you who don't have access to these advertisements, please let me know. I will share them in the class. I will share it on our classroom. Okay, so buying behavior. So Cadbury's, chocolates. I mean, everyone loves chocolates. Just such an important part of our life, if I can say that. However, go back most probably 20, 25 years, and the culture of my country was slightly different then, and chocolate was meant for kids. Right? So chocolate was identified with children. Hey, but that's not fair. I mean, just because I've grown up age-wise doesn't mean that I don't like chocolate. I still like chocolate. I still love chocolate, but it was meant for kids. So then you were like, okay, fine, it's for kids. And that was the culture at that point of time. Now, what did Cadbury's do? Cadbury's came up with that beautiful ad where there was this, where they were playing cricket and this batsman scores, I think he hits a 6 or something like that, and there is this girl who comes running on the field and says, with a chocolate, which said that chocolate is for people who are not just young by age, but are young by heart. Suddenly, the segmentation of the people grew. Suddenly, it was not just that small group of kids who were buying, but there were more people who felt comfortable buying that chocolate. Cadbury's again changed our behavior when they introduced us that Cadbury's can also be given as gift. So traditionally in India, during Diwali, Christmas, Holi, or whatever festival, we used to exchange sweets. Now in Diwali, I mean, the house used to be flooded by sweets, and there is only so much you can eat. Plus, sweets after a certain period of time, they have a life. I mean, in the sense that life is smaller as compared to a chocolate. What did Cadbury's do? They said you can also gift Cadbury's as a gift. And today, nobody tells us, we just go and buy. I mean, they introduced us to that buying behavior, and today we just go and do it, right? But my all-time favorite is sociocultural. Why sociocultural? Because culture is something from which you can never ever run away, and culture is something which makes us do a lot of things consciously, unconsciously, whether you like it or not. And that's where we marketing people come. We have to respect the culture of every place, because we are not here to tell people that your culture is right and your culture is not right. We are here to respect whatever be the culture of every place. And thank God the companies did it. So when Domino's arrived in India, I remember, I mean, we were so excited about it. But when I went and had that pizza, and it was pretty expensive for that time, I found it so bland. Because how do we Indians like our food? We like it spicy and with a lot of masalas, and I mean, we love it that way. And suddenly that Domino's was so bland, and same for Pizza Hut. Thank God they did not tell us, hey, you Indians, why do you eat so many spices? No, they said, okay, you love spices? Great, we respect your culture. And dang, we had all kinds of pizzas. I mean, the Italy has nothing to do with paneer tikka pizza. It is so Indian. And today, Domino's and Pizza Hut is doing pretty well in India. Thank God they respected our culture and did not try to tell us that we should also eat a certain kind of food. Same goes for McDonald's. But the example that I really like all the time is, maybe, I don't know if you've heard about it, I've read about it on various case studies, and it's about Kellogg's. What is Kellogg's? What is Kellogg's?
The cornflakes brand?
Yes, fantastic. Yes, cornflakes. So is Kellogg's our traditional breakfast? No. Our traditional breakfast in India has been, parathas or whatever, idli, dosa, poha, upma. These are our traditional breakfast. And suddenly here was Kellogg's, right? Cornflakes. So but originally when Kellogg's came in India, it was not successful. Though there was a lot of hype around it, and people wondered, why isn't it successful? So the research, which they should have done before entering the market, they did it later. Now, who was eating Kellogg's? Children. Who was giving to the children? Mother, right? Now, it said, and in India, I mean, how are we brought up? All our love, I mean, is somewhere associated with also the kind of food we serve to our kids. And garam khana, hot food in India is extremely important. I mean, I have yet to come across a mother who tells the kid, okay, beta, eat cold food. Today, maybe the mothers are saying, beta, please heat the food and have it. But it's so important for us to give hot food to our kids. So how was Kellogg's being given? Kellogg's was being given in hot milk. But how should you have cornflakes? Cornflakes are crunchy and really nice, and they're not supposed to be served in hot milk. They're supposed to be served in slightly cold milk, or at least lukewarm. But how could I, the Indian mother, give my son or daughter early in the morning cold milk and say, beta, thanda doodh pee le? I mean, what kind of a mother am I? And therefore, cornflakes just didn't gel with me, because along with that cold milk, my love also became cold. All my love was associated with hot food and warm milk. So what did Kellogg's do? So Kellogg's went and tried to understand the Indian mother, such a complex character. And when they understood the Indian mother, they understood that in India, normal children are not born. In India, only genius children are born. Because have you ever heard any mother saying, oh, my child is very normal? No. The moment child is born, we say, oh my God, look at him. You know what? He does this, he does that. Mothers can go on and on and on about how great their kid is. We only give birth to geniuses. So they said, okay, they did not argue with the Indian mother. Thank God. They said, okay, yes, yes, you are right, absolutely right, dear mother. And therefore, if you have Kellogg's, then your child will also become a genius. And let me show if I have that ad with me. So, yeah, look, this is what they said. They said, iron nahi khaoge to dimag kaise chalega? Dimag chalega nahi, daudega, right? So what did they do? They said, yes, Indian mother, you're absolutely right. And therefore, please serve cornflakes to your kid, because if your kid will have cornflakes, then he will become very intelligent. He will become a genius. You serve it the way you like, yaar. You want to serve it in hot milk, please serve it in hot milk. We will never again tell you how to serve it. All we'll tell you is that your child is the next genius born on this planet Earth, right? Thank God. Thank God they did not try to criticize us. Socio-cultural, there are so many examples, because culture is such an integral part of our life. You cannot run away from it, and we should not run away from it. And this is what we marketing people do. We respect culture. We respect every culture. We do not argue and say, hey, why do you think Friday is an auspicious day? Or why do you think on Saturday one should not do this? Or why do you think Sunday is important? Or why do you keep a fast on Monday? We don't. Because we respect every culture. And please also understand, every culture is different. So while white is the color of the bride in the Western world, white is the color of the widow in India. And that's perfectly okay. That is absolutely okay. So while black is considered to be really classic color in the fashion world, black is also considered inauspicious in certain cultures. And we accept it. We accept it because we respect everyone. And because we respect everyone, that is why we can create the right segments. Let me stop at that today, because the next thing would be targeting and positioning, but maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow. Let me take a break and just come back to you and understand. Are clear what we spoke about today? Is everyone clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Any question? Any comments?
No, ma'am.
You're awake?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes,
Ayush? Ayush?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Okay, great. Okay, I was asking 69 Ayush, but so let me end the class over here and let me take a break, because I want you to go back and think about what we have spoken today. I want you to think with examples before we come back for the class tomorrow. And